Next question that came in is I keep being told I need the latest software, apps, and technology to stay competitive, but every new tool seems to create more work, not less. I'm spending more time managing my tech stack than my business. What's your philosophy on technology and tools?
I hate most of them. Well, because here's why, and it's true, I do. Because almost none of them work as advertised. They're not created by. They're absolutely not created by somebody who's used it themselves to get free. They're usually created. They're tech. It's usually created by a tech person. And usually what happens with a lot of the stuff is feature bloat. It's got, oh my God, it's got all these bells and whistles, does all these things. And when you look, like when you go online and go, oh my gosh, look at all the things that it does. It's got this long list. And then they put it next to the competition who has fewer green check marks. And that's supposed to be good. I found that that's not good. What you want is absolutely, you want it to actually work. And most of these things don't work. So if you want to be free, for example, like we'll use CRM. CRM is something that we've worked, for decades. If you're wanting to be free, uh, you need CRM. And a lot of people have used CRM and they use it extremely ineffectively. I think for a couple of reasons. One is that there's no system. There's no system that it runs on. And so or it may, but it's not a very good system. It's somebody else, a tech person maybe go, well, we should have it do these things. Well, tech person has never been out in the field or marketing to sell and building a business. They're just doing tech stuff. And somebody comes up with oh, we should add this, we should add this, we should plug it into this. It's like, have you ever tried to figure out how to try to make all that stuff work? I want simple and powerful, like CRM. I wanted to mimic a system that runs like no other. I wanted to mimic the system that I found that works extremely effectively without technology. So I think that when you find a system and then you go, okay, this really works great. Now let's automate it, if that's the right way to say this. So um, we've tested so many pieces of software for so many things, and at one time, and so we have our own. So we ended up kicking everybody to the curb, creating our own CRM, and to do exactly what we wanted it to do because nothing else would work. We had people in the office with the jackets that say, oh, this is the software, and they're in there going, can't figure out how to make it work because I'm trying to manipulate it to do what we want it to do, and it just keeps breaking, or erroring, and it says that it can do it, and these people come in and it's like, we can't figure out how to do it. Okay, well, pack your bag, Skippy, and hit the bricks. And so we have our own event. Honestly, I got tired of having our own because, like, man, now we've got to deal with technology. It sure would be nice just to have somebody else do that. And so I was like, forget it. I'm done with this. And so we contracted with the biggest name in CRM. And a really snazzy marketing company that had a wonderful website, said that they could do all these things to make it work on systemized the way we want it to work. And they were going to take 90 days. And by the way, it would cost us $10,000 a month to have this in place, 10 grand a month. And we signed a contract for a year. So it's a $120,000 contract that we signed, that we agreed that we would do this. And after 90 days, there's supposed to be the big reveal. And they did the big reveal, and it's like, they only have a third of it assembled. And it's like, well, where's the rest of it? They go, well, it takes a long time to put this thing together. Like, what? Huh? What? It takes a year to put it together? What am I supposed to do in the meantime? So, and they had all the tricky stuff. They couldn't even figure out their own stuff. So the, what we found is one, you have got to figure out your own system. Don't buy into somebody else's system. You have to figure out, you get into these things that never quite work as well you imagine they should, or as the advertisers. The other part of of software is you've got people who are building it, that are building in more and more and more and more features, and then the advertising department goes, oh my gosh, we should tell them it does all these things. Well, and then you buy it and you go, well, this doesn't do well. maybe, this doesn't do what you said it's going to do. And your people don't know, it doesn't work for, I need to have my own system. And then if I can find something that mimics that system, that's great. But, but buying into somebody else's system, they didn't build it for freedom. Usually like big CRM, for example, absolutely is not freedom CRM. They don't build it for that. If you look at who their clients are, it's corporate America. And what they do is they intertwine. They have what do they call the department where the onboarding department and the integration department. They have an integration department and they weave it into your stuff, and they can't get out of that stuff. And so they pay a big monthly fee for something they can't get out of. And if they did, it would be a horrible experience. So therefore, you see some of these CRM companies are worth billions of dollars. And that's why. It's because they weave it in, and then, well, that's what we have, and that's what we're going to work with. And the person that bought it isn't going to say we made the wrong choice. They're going to go, well, it's the number one. It's like, and so if you want slow and sluggish, then buy the ones that you see advertised everywhere, that have the whole list of all the cool features that are never going to work, or because you've got to figure out how to make them work. And if you call the tech department, hopefully they speak your language, they understand what you're saying, you understand what they're saying, not just language wise, but in so usually entrepreneurial people aren't wildly technical. Sometimes they are, but usually they're not. They're looking for tools to do their thing, and it's nice if you could just drop it in and it works, and then you can start using it right away. But when you bring most of this technology in, now it's like it's like a puzzle. You get this whole box of 1,000 pieces. It looks pretty on the outside. You get it, and you open it up, and you go, oh my God, what, I don't know how to, and then you've got to it's not just putting the pieces in place, but understand the technology to put the pieces in there. It goes on and on and on and on and on. It never stops with stuff like that. So and you hear people, well, I need to learn, like, social media. I don't know anything about social media except that it's there. I don't use it. But in order to use it, like I've heard people go, well, you really need to know how to use that. And I think, well, I really do extremely well without it. I don't want to do that. I don't like, the opinion section of the newspaper, and social media is not for me. But people go, how does that even work? How can you not understand how to use that? But I mean, that's a little piece, but that we're not really talking about, kind of, because if you're going to use it to get out there, um, you have to understand how to use it, not just how they want you to use it. So anyway, the question was, do I need all this technology? And I would say no. Understand what you're trying to achieve first, and understand your system. And like anything, if you're going to build software, you want to run it manually first. You don't want to create it. You don't want to create it with you don't want to create the software. You want to create the system and understand that works, and then you can make it go faster by turning it into software. But when you buy somebody else's bloated software, and you try to figure out, you just really caused a lot of, you really like sidetracked yourself from what you were supposed to be doing. Now you're trying to figure this out. That's not is Now, understand your system. Take the time to understand it on paper and in real life, and then if you can find a software that does those things, forget about their long feature list. Look for the things that you go, okay, within that software, is that simple and powerful the way that I'd want to use it? And if not, don't look for the long feature list. Look for
Yeah.
the short feature list with the things that you want it to do. Yeah. Does that make sense? Does that answer it right? We have
Yeah.
so many hours, days, years wrapped up in that very question.
Well, it really
And yeah,
sidetracks you too with,
oh
you're
God.
making money, you're flowing. And usually what happens in scenarios like that is people hit some sort of ceiling, right? And they're doing great. They're doing well. They're doing well. They're doing well. And they go, I got to do weller. I got to do more. Then they go out and buy this bloated program. And then all of a sudden they got to become an expert at running the program. So what they did before to make money, now they make less money. And not only do they make less money because they're performing less than they were prior to that, but now they're spending money on these bloated programs.
Yeah.
I think, and I guess you got to be a real specialized deal to want to go out and buy. I our experience and so many other people that I know that are in business, they share the same experience that John just
Yeah.
described. It's like, I just
Or
keep it
even
simple.
personally,
Yeah, or even
even
personally. Yeah.
personally, this morning I was at the chiropractor, and the chiropractor, when I was leaving, the girl behind the counter goes, "Oh, we've got a new app. All you got
I
to
don't
do is
want it.
scan this." No, no, and she, all you got to do is scan this, and then you can set your own appointments. You can change your own appointments. You blah 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 blah. And I went,
I had that happen.
"No, what I need is an app to get rid of apps. Look, the system that when I'm here, on my way out, I'm just scheduled a time. I don't need an additional app.
Yeah,
I can call you and you answer, right? And she was like, well, yeah, but you can do this, and it's like, I want less. I want to shed load
right,
with stuff that's now they're pushing stuff to me. Now they're notifying
right.
me. Hey, do you want to, it's like, no,
I
no,
I had that
leave me
exact.
alone.
So
I
if
just want to I just want to be free. And so,
yeah,
yeah, I said, you know what, I'll,
yep,
thank you. I'm trying to, have I don't just, it's like I delete as much as possible. If it's not, I have a saying, and so I care deeply about a few things, and those few things seem to take care of most other things. So I don't need other miscellaneous stuff. I don't need pushes and dinging and stuff. I need to just do the things that I need to do and do the things that I enjoy doing. I don't have to. I don't need to be sidetracked. I think it's one of the reasons people are a little prickly today is they're constantly getting their chain jerked. They're getting interrupted. They're trying to do some stuff and it's bing 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 bing. They're so busy reacting to bangs and interruptions and whatnot that they're crazy. It's a crazy noisy world, and it's not getting one more app. All right, one more bing that takes you off really what mattered onto something that, oh, I see they've got a special 5% off on, you get some supplements. Like, awesome. I don't need that now. And now I'm sidetracked. It'll take me 19 minutes to get back on. So I'd shed as much technology honestly as possible and use only the stuff that's simple and powerful.